Hey guys, how's it going? I am WWE Hall of Famer Lita, welcoming you to General Admission Wrestling.
Hey folks, welcome to Friday Night Storm. We got a big show culminating in our main event. Bandido making his first defense of the Intercontinental Championship. That is coming up. He's facing Will Ospreay. Talk about a match for the ages. We have that for you, as well as a big tag team clash. Former championship challengers are in action once again. But we begin here with a former tag team champion in his own right, Pete Dunne, who has been making more and more attempts to get back into the singles ranks in GAW, a place where he has not had that much success, but it's really for lack of trying. He has not, almost at all, ventured into singles territory, but seems like he's ready to start again and try to recapture some of that singles success that we've seen him have across his illustrious career all over the world. Been mostly a tag specialist in GAW, but any time is a good time to start a big-time singles run. Talk about a big-time singles run. Matt Riddle rose really fast, earned himself a world championship match about 3 weeks after his return. He came back after being defeated by Keith Lee in a last man standing match at Nitro 10, and he earned himself a world championship match just 3 weeks after that. Aleister Black did defeat him soundly before Black went on to face Walter at Bash at the Beach, and of course we know how that went, and we know how their subsequent title match at After Party went as well. Matt Riddle since then has not gotten back to the top, but just like Pete Dunne, now's a pretty good time to start. Both of these men are kind of in an interesting position now in terms of where they go next. Matt Riddle has already had the opportunity to win a world championship. Pete Dunne, this is just his fourth singles match in the last 2 years in general admission wrestling. So he's really just trying to get back into it in terms of singles success. And he's had no shortage of that during his illustrious career. It's just not where his focus has been in GAW up until now. But he is one of the world's best European-style wrestlers. You talk about a short list of the best of that catch-as-catch-can style. You're talking about Walter, Zack Sabre Jr., and Pete Dunne. Well, those first two guys have had a lot of singles success in GAW, so it's not like it can't work. It's just a matter of, being there and having that be your focus. Matt Riddle now transitions, triangle choke here, applied by Riddle. He's trying to perch up. You see him trying to keep his right shoulder off the mat to avoid a pin attempt, and Pete Dunne gonna take advantage. Dunne slams him down. That's the problem with trying to perform a triangle choke in professional wrestling. Got to keep your shoulders up off the mat. Here's a much easier submission to perform. It's the ankle lock, locked in by Matt Riddle, but Dunne rolls through. Look at the core strength. We know all about that for Pete Dunne. The Bruiserweight, a former tag team champion with Drew McIntyre. Very unlikely pairing those two. Coming after the GAW Christmas party, an X-Plex by Pete Dunne. One of the prettiest moves in all of wrestling as far as I'm concerned. Leg hooked and Riddle kicks out. The two were paired together during the GAW Christmas party. They said, you know what, this team actually works pretty well. Let's continue this. So back in 2017, they won tag team gold. Riddle, nice takedown from the former UFC superstar. That's what Matt Riddle is all about. Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, big forearm strike. Dunne pump handle face breaker. Pete Dunne has absolutely done it. That I would not have expected. The bitter end from Pete Dunne. And somehow, Pete Dunne has beaten a former world championship challenger. With the world champion off TV for a little while, you gotta wonder, here's another look at that bitter end. You gotta wonder, is Pete Dunne maybe going to assert himself as a big-time singles wrestler? He has the pedigree, so is he going to finally bring that ability to general admission wrestling? This result would suggest he may very well. Folks, Conor McGregor managed Bobby Lashley for Lashley's nearly record-breaking Intercontinental Championship reign. We're seeing Lashley's former challenger, now the champion later on tonight, Conor McGregor, is standing by backstage. It has come to my attention that Bandido will be defending the title tonight. Fair enough. But the story of that match won't be over when the bell rings. Bobby and I are not fucking around this time. I think Bandido needs to keep his eye out for what might potentially happen in that match coming up later on. I worry for Bandido and Rey Mysterio, knowing the depths that Conor McGregor has gone to since joining GAW, what he's been able to do. But it's not just what McGregor has done in terms of, you know, the deceitful stuff that we've come to expect from him, but just the overwhelming power of Bobby Lashley is a concern as well. But that is just another wrinkle added to the main event coming up later on. Speaking of main event, potential main eventers in this match, Charlotte Flair, the Queen, still looking for her first title in GAW, came up short against Bianca Belair for the US title, and her opponent, someone who seems to have world championship aspirations and may very well get it. Ronda Rousey has quickly become one of the fan favorites in GAW. And a big reason for that is because when you hear this music, when you listen to this reaction, you know that Ronda Rousey has to be out here. One of the most distinctive entrances in all of wrestling. And if you like this track, like we all do, head on over to our Spotify. We have a playlist right now with every single song from around GAW. That's wrestler entrance themes, that's special event themes, and that's some special ones as well. That is all on our Spotify. Links in the description or on generaladmissionwrestling.com. And you can be bumping to this during your workout as well. I can't think of a better way to hype yourself up, to be honest. Listen to the fan support for Ronda Rousey. She has really become a fan favorite, not only due to her legendary status both in mixed martial arts and in pro wrestling, but also because she now is the one to step up and try to take the title away from Dakota Kai, the woman who beat Asuka, who, by the way, has just fallen off the face of the earth. No one's heard from her, seen her since Nitro 10. This dangerous head scissor applied by Charlotte Flair. Look at the core strength. I mean, that'll just drive all of the strength out of your body. But Charlotte Flair didn't want that second title match with Kai. She didn't want that tables match. She was forced into it, but now she's had enough of Kai as champion, and it seems that she is ready to step up and try to take that title from Dakota Kai. and the fans are here for it. And so am I, frankly. To follow up someone like Asuka with someone like Dakota Kai, it's pretty insulting, honestly, to the World Championship. Ronda Rousey now giving that head scissors back to Charlotte Flair, trying to lock the calf underneath the chin of the Queen. That one didn't work. Flair able to counter out of that suplex and a big knife edge chop. The fans loving that one, as they always do. Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey do have some history. The two battled for the United States Championship after Rousey became the first champion last year, 2020. Charlotte Flair, look at this, bridges up, figure eight applied by Flair. Ronda Rousey, she's close to the ropes. The figure eight, so destructive, but Ronda Rousey just able to power out of it. She didn't need anything. She was just able to power out of one of the most dangerous submissions in the game. And Charlotte Flair, you wonder where her head's at now after something like that. There is a very short list of people on planet Earth who can do that to the figure eight. We may be looking at the only one. Either way, Charlotte Flair did challenge Ronda Rousey for the U.S. Championship on an episode of Storm back in August of 2020. That was in the midst of Rousey's U.S. Championship reign that ended up lasting 104 days with 6 successful defenses. Charlotte Flair became one of those names. So Flair knows Rousey pretty well. And likewise, of course. Flair knows she's got to protect the arm. Arm drag, Flair right back to her feet, but Rousey gets the single arm takedown. She's starting to target that left arm a little bit. We saw her do it earlier as well. We know how dangerous Ronda Rousey can be, especially when you let her get a hold of one of your arms. We know what the baddest woman on the planet is capable of. Rousey, boot to the gut, suplex, transitions, rear naked choke applied. She's trying to get that forearm underneath the chin of Charlotte Flair. Flair trying to stop it. Charlotte Flair may not have enough to get out of the rear naked choke. That is locked in deep. Ronda Rousey, it looks like, released the hold intentionally. She's done this before. And it's come with varying degrees of success. Rousey likes to use the armbar. In her opinion, it's much harder to get out of that armbar. And now, here's another submission attempt. I think this is her 4th different one of the day. Single leg Boston Crab. One of the simplest ones in the book, but also one of the most dangerous. Charlotte Flair able to work her way out of it. But it's lots of different submissions targeting lots of different areas. And here is the most dangerous. Armbar applied. Ronda Rousey caught her coming in with that strike. And Ronda Rousey's armbar locked in. Charlotte Flair has no choice. Of course you have to tap. Ronda Rousey forces yet another submission from the armbar. She may have added depth to her game. There may be a little bit more that she can use. But now in her 13th GAW win, Dakota, I'm done with this war of words. You want to play games with that championship, even with all the history and the legends behind it, and you want to hide behind some cheap match you forced me into? It's not going to happen. If you can't beat me in a real match, no Tegan, no tables, you're no real champion. And I know that you can't beat me like that. So I believe this is the official confirmation that Ronda Rousey means business. And Dakota Kai may have just found herself her most dangerous opponent yet. We got to get backstage right now as Bianca Belair is standing by. Well, if Dakota Kai isn't going to be a real champion, I guess that's why they keep me around. So I'm ready to get back out there and show why I am the EST of the USA. Well, Belair is getting right back into action after her first successful defense of the US Championship. She is taking on Jessamyn Duke next week on Friday Night Storm. And this just in, the Women's World Champion Dakota Kai will battle Shayna Baszler. That is right here next week on Friday Night Storm. You cannot miss that show. Make sure to subscribe. It's nice, maybe, to see the mighty Don't Kneel come back. It's nice to see some more tag teams being, injected into the fray. The Usos have quickly made themselves the most unbeatable tag team in the world right now. And the mighty Don't Kneel challenged them twice, both times unsuccessfully, for the tag team championships. Both at Bash at the Beach and at After Party. But apparently they have designs on maybe a third go at the tag team championships. It's hard to see a world where they'd be able to get themselves another match, but you never know. Speaking of legendary tag teams, the Young Bucks are two of the best in the history of GAW. 4-time tag team champions. That is tied for the most title reigns of all time for any tag team. And they are tied with the Motor City Machine Guns in that category. So you want to talk about just pure skill, pure ability in the tag division. That's what the Young Bucks bring to the table. And they might have designs on becoming the only 5-time tag team champions. They've donned the shirts the Young Bucks have, the mighty Don't Kneel coming in. And again, maybe looking for another chance at those tag team championships. It's hard to say, what the Usos would want at this point out of their tag team challengers. I think at this point they'd probably just want a worthy opponent. Now, they've seen the mighty Don't Kneel twice, so I'm sure they wouldn't be happy to see them back into the fray again. So maybe a rematch with the Young Bucks is in order. Big spear from Matt Jackson. First cover of the match, and it comes less than a minute in. Nick Miller able to kick out. The Usos and Young Bucks battled in one of the best matches of Season 1 during the tag team title tournament, held in the aftermath of the Revival being forced to vacate the tag team championships at Nitro 9. The Bucks and the Usos battled in the tournament that the Usos would ultimately win to claim the tag team championships, titles that they would hold for most of Season 1, a 244-day reign for the Usos. The Young Bucks, you never know what they can bring to the table in terms of their athleticism, in terms of their unpredictability, and sometimes their viciousness. You never know what they might be coming in with. But you could probably say the same about TMDK now that we know that they are a little bit more vicious than we're used to seeing from them. Who knows what they might do during the course of a match? We've already seen it plenty of times. More than enough examples of TMDK in that regard. Back into the ring go both teams. This has been a match fought between just these two so far. And Nick Miller, I think, tried to duck underneath the spear attempt coming from Matt Jackson. I couldn't quite tell. I don't think Jackson got all of that spear, regardless of what he was thinking. We know the Young Bucks are most dangerous when it comes to the double team offense that they can employ, but so far there's been none of that from them. TMDK has also been remarkable when it comes to that double team offense as well, but none of that from them today either. Very interesting, honestly. Spine buster from Nick Miller. That's a pretty one. Transitions over, and Miller going for the cover. He's grinding the forearm down onto the mouth, and Nick Jackson not in time. This tag team match fought between two men, and TMDK asserting their will on the former four-time tag team champions. So maybe TMDK still have more to say when it comes to who is going to be the tag team championship challengers. We just saw the Gorillas of Destiny pick up a win last week on Storm. So TMDK, could they be the ones in line to potentially challenge the Usos again? Will it be GOD? Will it be someone else? I really don't know. The tag team division, probably the most wide open division in GAW right now. And that's how I think we all like it.
Our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans. God bless you and thank you.
This is the match I have been waiting all day for. Will Ospreay versus Bandido for the Intercontinental Championship. This is just such a tantalizing match on paper, and it was the one time that they faced off in a singles contest. That was back at the Best of the Super Juniors in 2019. Will Ospreay took a little time off from GAW, went over there, competed. The two had a banger, and now I can't wait to see it again.
Bandido cuts the leg.
So Bandido won the Intercontinental Championship from Bobby Lashley a few weeks ago on After Party, now making his first defense of the title with Rey Mysterio in his corner. And credit to him, because he is stepping up against one of the most lethal opponents in Will Ospreay, in terms of what Ospreay brings to the table, in terms of his history with the Intercontinental Championship and what we've seen him do to all kinds of opponents, what we know he's capable of. This is a match that I hope all week you have been excited for, because I know I certainly have, and we are going to get it right here on Friday Night Storm. Can you imagine that? You want to talk about Will Ospreay's 2019, the year when he fought Bandido in the Best of the Super Juniors? He won the Cruiserweight Championship at Nitro 8, made his first defense against Rey Fenix in Rio on May 1st, went straight from Rio to Japan to compete in the Best of the Super Juniors, competed in that tournament throughout the months of May and June, and then returned to GAW in July to defend his Cruiserweight Championship once again at Bash at the Beach on July 14th. That was part of a 252-day reign for Will Ospreay as Cruiserweight Champion. That was Ospreay's 2019, and it wasn't long after that that Bandido showed up in GAW, and now Bandido, in just about 2 years in the company, has his first his first championship in general. never challenged for the Cruiserweight Championship while he was here, interestingly enough. Of course, the Cruiserweight Championship was unified with the Intercontinental Championship by Will Ospreay last year in Season 1, so that is no longer an option for Bandido. But Will Ospreay will always go down as one of the great Cruiserweight champions in history. Rey Mysterio is maybe the greatest Cruiserweight champion in history. Poison Rana from Bandido. Wow. Just like that, Bandido, just a straight vertical leap, drops Ospreay on the top of his head, leg hooked, and Ospreay kicks out. Mysterio was actually a big fan of Will Ospreay unifying the two championships. He was a big supporter of Ospreay in his goal to do that. It was surprising to some, given Mysterio's history with the Cruiserweight Championship. 8-time champion is Rey Mysterio. So some were surprised, but he wanted to see the Cruiserweights begin to compete with the heavyweights, and Will Ospreay has assured that that is going to happen. Bandido with a heat seeker. That's the move that started it all for Bandido. The heat seeker won him the Goldberg Beat the Clock challenge, and it wins him his first successful defense of the Intercontinental Championship. Always go back to what works, and in a fast and furious match, Will Ospreay and Bandido, I hope that we will see these two again. I really do. This is a very special combination of men, two of the premier athletes in the world. And you know what? You go back to what works, and for Bandido, what works is that heat seeker. My God, would you look at that? That's what started it all for Bandido. And hang on a second, Bobby Lashley into the ring, spear from Lashley. Former Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley, and Rey Mysterio had his back turned. Mysterio has just seen what happens, and a spear for Rey Mysterio as well. Bobby Lashley has fulfilled Conor McGregor's promise of what will happen to these two men. And Lashley picked the exact right time, coming out of the crowd. Bandido trying to get to his feet. And Bobby Lashley, he is just far too powerful. Conor McGregor said what was going to happen. He promised, and now Lashley, Dominator. McGregor promised us that this would happen. And Bobby Lashley has made good on that promise. He's laid waste to the Intercontinental Champion, to one of the greatest champions in GAW history in Rey Mysterio. Lashley has destroyed LAX. Folks, thank you so much for joining us on General Admission Wrestling. Please subscribe. We'll see you on Monday for Storm Chaser. Check out the website. We'll see you next time. We appreciate you.